Welcome back to Range Anxiety TV. I'm your host, Martin, and today we're going to be talking about the Porsche Taycan, better known in the industry as the depreciation king. Now, overall, I get a lot of people, they ring me up and they say, Martin, you know a lot about electric cars. Shall I buy a Porsche Taycan? I can get one fairly cheap. What are they like? Blah, blah, blah. So rather than have to answer everyone individually, I thought we might just do a short piece on the depreciation king, the Porsche Taycan, and have a look at what went wrong and what went right. Initially, not a bad car. You can see the early edition up there. I like them in white. In fact, I like all cars in white. White is the new black. Blah, blah, blah. They're not a bad looking thing. They do look a bit, they've got a bit of that like jail tap face. It looks like they've got a tear sort of tattooed on the front of them. So maybe they should be called the Taycan Tucanos. They're very Latino in that regard. But, you know, looks are subjective, and I think they're quite fine if a little sad looking at the front, but overall, it is a Porsche. It is a good quality car, you know, in some ways. Like the stitching, the interior trim, the options list, all very opulent. So why so cheap? Few reasons. First up, they've got the most stupid model names. There's the, like, who calls an electric car a turbo or a Turbo S? I spoke to the Porsche people about this, and I said, why? If you would ever own the Porsche Turbo, you know, Turbo stands for the designation of the chassis and the engineering, other than what is under the hood. Really? I thought turbo meant it had a turbo on it. But anyway, hey, maybe that's just me. I can be confused for being a little stupid from time to time. So that was a bit odd. And then, you know, people started reporting depreciation in 18 months of like 50% on the vehicle, which is like staggering. And a lot of this is Porsche's own fault. You see, because they run some sort of Ponzi scheme of sales where if you want access to the latest 992 GT3 RS, take 3 Taycans and we'll push you up the list. So what happened is a lot of people to get their Porsche supercars took Taycans and just flipped them immediately, and they didn't care if it was for a loss. So that started to drive down prices, which is just not that great. And secondly, some of the engineering was, how do I put it, a little bit shit. First up, battery fire recall. Never a great thing for an EV. Excuse me, sir, you bring the car into the workshop because it could spontaneously combust and burn your entire house down. Like, you know, huff and I'll puff and I'll burn your house down. So it wasn't great because they outsourced the battery tech. I think they use a pouch cell in them. And yeah, they just didn't do it right. So Porsche's, while you are waiting for the upgrade to the battery, please don't charge it over 80% or park it indoors. Like, oh, that stuff's gotta hurt. And yeah, it scared a lot of people. I mean, instances of them catching fire, I mean, they're probably around, but you know, I know more 911s that catch fire than any Taycans I've ever seen. In fact, I've got a friend that specialises in setting them alight just for shits and giggles, like, unintentionally, but he works on them and he shouldn't work on cars. We all know who you are, don't we, Nico? So yeah, that was a really unfortunate thing for them. And I made some notes because there are a few things there, you know. Anytime you hear the words thermal runaway, the thermal runaway, it's never a good thing for EVs. And the market reacted and pushed their values down even further. Add some other stuff, like the software's clunky. Like all German software, it's oh yes, you can see the danger to battery video thing up there. Please take back in, explosion imminent. The software's clunky too, like most German stuff. Like, you know, even late-ish 911s have a start button and a key, and, you know, it's all kind of just higgledy-piggledy, you might say, and which, again, you know, the whole EV evolution is supposed to be about integration and intelligence of a function, even if it comes at the price of being overform, and Porsche just haven't embraced that. Porsche have tried to appeal to their mainstream, middle-aged man, sort of, low test count driver, rather than the EV converts. And they're not the guys that are going to buy an EV anyway. They're the guys you force them on Porsche, and they're the guys that are flipping them for little bucks. But let's push all that aside for a minute. Overall, it is a very nice car. Now, the Turbo S is 560 kilowatts or something like that, and the Turbo is 450, around there. Bottom line is, if you can pick up a Turbo for 160 grand secondhand here in Australia with SFA kilometres on it, very low, that means, it's just a range anxiety abbreviation, it's going to offer the same performance as a new Model 3 Tesla. So it's not slow, it's pretty fast. And if you opt up with the Turbo S, you will actually get 0 to 100 in about 2.8 or 2.9, which is a pretty cool thing. So overall, they're quite fast. Their range is, they had 2 battery packs, a smallish one, and the big one, which is about 92 kilowatt hours. And they go about 400 Ks in the real world on that. Again, even though it's not a competitor for a Model 3 performance, it's about twice the price, second-hand, and offers similar kind of less range, similar performance. But, overall, you can say, would you like to come for a ride in my Porsche? Rather than saying, up into me Telstra. So there's a little bit of brand cachet there, even if it is a bit silent and a bit challenging to look at from time to time. Overall, on the Martin score, I rate the Taycan. Actually, we don't do the rating yet, so I'm just going to talk about how sales have slowed with them. This is very interesting when you look at my old last video on Tesla sales dumping. Same reason. New Taycan introduced. There's the graph up there, and you can see that it's slow to ramp again once they start putting the new car into production. Would I buy a second-hand Taycan? Yeah. I actually don't mind them. I think they're a pretty capable car. Obviously, I'd get one that the battery recall's been done on, and I'd try and lowball the suckers for about 110 grand. Otherwise, I'll just stick with the bloody Telstra. But superb interior quality, great ride, does everything pretty well, can charge really fast. I think they've got a charge port on both sides too. They're a bit ambidextrous. The range anxiety score for these, I'll give them a solid, if you can get it cheap enough, and if it's not going to explode on you, I'll give them a solid 8 out of 10. So there you go. If you're thinking of buying one, there's my experience and thoughts on them. Yes, I have driven one. Don't hold back. And thank you once more for watching Range Anxiety TV.